This is a Thunder post-game wrap brought to you by Bob Moore Ford. I'm Jenni Carlson here with Anthony Slater. We are at the Peak, where the Thunder has defeated the Clippers 105-104 in Game 5 of these Western Conference semifinals. And wow, so much to talk about, and it really all happened right at the end. Let's start with what caused the rant from Doc Rivers, the Clippers coach. The play that the Thunder comes up with a steal, Reggie Jackson driving to the basket, looks to get fouled, then looks to turn it over. There's a review. What did Doc Rivers have to say about all this?
I mean, he basically called it a horrendous call. Says the Clippers were robbed of the game because of the call. Like you said, really ran it for probably about 5-10 minutes on it. Said it's a series decider, and in some ways it did flip it. If they give the ball to the Clippers, they're probably shooting free throws to win it. But now there's a rule coming out. People are saying that, if you hit a player's hand and it goes out, it stays with the team. There's a whole bunch of kind of moving parts still going on right now. The NBA released a statement that said they only saw 2 views of it, and neither were conclusive enough to change it, so they kept it with the Thunder. Then the Thunder inbounded off that play. Russell Westbrook gets fouled. Also another questionable call on Chris Paul. He gets 3 free throws from it, sinks all 3. They go up 1. Chris Paul turns it over on the last play. Game over. Series shifts to LA with the Thunder up 3-2 instead of down 3-2. And like Doc Rivers said, no matter if it was a good or bad call or whatever, it was a series decider potentially.
Well, a game that the Thunder should have won on Sunday, they lost. A game the Thunder probably should have lost on Tuesday night, they won. Obviously, some stuff that's not good when you look at the struggles that Kevin Durant had. But before we get to that, let's talk about the guy that kept him in this game, the guy who hit the 3 free throws to win the game, Russell Westbrook, game-high 38 points. He didn't have a triple-double, which is about the only thing he didn't do. But why was Westbrook so effective tonight?
Just really aggressive, and I think the third quarter might have been his best quarter that I can remember because of the fact I think he had 14 points. But it was at a time, as you mentioned, Durant was 3 of 17 at one point shooting, really struggling all night, kind of reminiscent of the Memphis series with all his struggles. And they needed somebody to score. And Westbrook, he wasn't getting a lot of assists, but none of his teammates were making shots, so it's hard to get assists. So he kind of took it upon himself, which is aggressive, attacking the rim, scoring a ton, huge in the third quarter, and struggled a little bit at the start of the fourth, but huge down the stretch. What's our headline tomorrow's paper? Rescued. It's a fitting headline. I mean, he was the reason they won this game. 38 points, a playoff high.
Well, Kevin Durant, we mentioned, had his off night, missed 16 of the 22 shots that he took, still scored 20-plus points tonight, but he struggled from the floor. Again, we saw him struggle with Chris Paul guarding him, how the double team's coming over in Game 4. What were the struggles tonight, Anthony? It looked like he was getting maybe better shots than he was getting in Game 4, but still not hitting them.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, he was kind of the Memphis series. He was getting looks he liked. I mean, he was just long on some shots, and then once he missed a few, you could see he was slapping his legs, kind of looking at the refs a little bit after missed shots. I think he just got frustrated, and it kind of mounted. And he was bad most of the game, but I think he had 10 points in the final couple minutes. He had a big 3. So he was there when they needed him. I guess they probably would have needed him a little earlier, would have liked him, but they get the win, and he kind of doesn't get as much criticism as he probably would have taken had they lost.
Okay, lastly, Game 6, Thursday night in LA, 9:30 Oklahoma time will be the tip. What's the key? What's the key going to be for the Thunder to close this one out and move on to the Western Conference Finals?
They got to get their offense moving a lot better. I mean, it's going to be masked a little bit because of the comeback, but the offense was really brutal at times. No movement, a lot of isolations. It's stuff they've had issues with in the past, and when they bog down like that, I mean, they're not going to beat good teams. They somehow did tonight. Still not sure how, but they got to get the offense back to what it was like in Game 3, Game 4, before the collapse down the stretch. And if they can do that, they could maybe close out in L.A. and get a few days rest before a potential Western Conference Finals.
If not, Game 7 back here at the Peak on Sunday. Be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoman.